Last time on D&D featuring Calliope Laurelleaf, the Halfling Bard, Ellie Jobel, the Gnome Ranger Rogue, Phelan, the High Elf Cleric, Talarin, the Wood Elf Ranger, Trogdor, the Dragonborn Barbarian, Torpo, the Hill Dwarf Wizard, and Alaric Lysane, the Human Fighter.
The party spends several weeks helping around Lakefront, recovering what they can, including the bodies of the deceased who perished in the attack by the undead dragon. After about 2 weeks, many members of the caravan decide they're actually going to stay and help rebuild Lakefront. An expert smith, a dwarf by the name of Garrus Hammerstone, asks the party if they could donate anything to help go towards restoring Lakefront, and each of them surprisingly does actually donate. Alaric donates 180, Calliope Laurelleaf donates 200, Ellie Jobel donates 200, Twerpo donates 150, Talarin donates 150, Trogdor donates 200, which is odd behavior for him, and Phelan donates 150 gold. The remaining caravan, which is now down to 4 wagons, proceeds to the next stop, which is Redstone. Redstone is a city that is, the base of it is built alongside a very massive mountain. There is a legend behind Redstone that a celestial being fell from the heavens during some great war and was impaled upon the mountain's peak. The celestial's blood seeped into the mountains, and now throughout the mountains inside, there are caverns full of red gems, many of which just pulsate and glow and hum. But if you take any of these gems out of the cavern as soon as they get out, they simply turn to stone. This mystery is simply explained that is clearly the blood of a celestial being, and that if it leaves the mountain, it leaves its place of death and turns back into stone. The party heads into the main tavern, which is a place called the Nightshade, where they meet the owner, Bradbury. It is there that the party overhears some local trouble, as a woman explains several weeks ago. A fire streaked across the sky. An ill omen, she said, as it felt dark and evil. And shortly after this streaking fire through the sky, an old woman appeared and promised several children from the town a magnificent gift. But they had to follow her into the caves. Far, far back into the caves, further back than anyone typically goes. The children, enthralled by the elderly woman, ventured deep inside the cave, and it has been days since her return. Several parents and other concerned citizens ventured forward, but claimed they were attacked by various dark and evil monsters, the likes of which they've never seen before, including what they described as angry, bloodthirsty gnomes. The old woman's appearance is remarkably close to that of an old woman about 50 years ago, a human woman who was in Redstone when it first settled. She was depressed that she could not have children of her own, and she eventually sought to end her life by venturing deep inside the caves in hopes of getting lost and simply meeting her demise. However, one day she appeared again and lured the children to the back of the cave, where they were never seen again, but some say, many years later, what appeared to be aged version of those children's, their heads were severed with bat-like wing appendages, appeared and attacked the people of Redstone. The party agrees to investigate to see what is happening inside those caverns in Redstone. As they venture in, the party is first attacked by a flock of Vargoyles. This is the same type of creature that they had described as these headless beings with bat-like appendages. Moving further inside after they were defeated, the party bypasses an odd pattern of lights made by the stones inside Redstone. Further inside, they encounter a lingering mist in the room, and Ellie notices that none of the redstones are ignited in this room where this mist simply seems to linger. Torpo and Calliope discover that it is actually vampiric mist, a mist that is formed when a powerful vampire is unable to return to his coffin and eventually gets stuck in this unusual mist-like state. The party next encounters a goth, which is a beholder-like creature that thrives on devouring magic, but the party is able to quickly put it down. Its death reveals a magic door. The door opens to a portal known as the Shadowfell. where the party steps inside. Now, in my world, the Shadowfell is very much similar to the Feywild, but it is the darker side of the Feywild. Trogdor, for reasons unknown, attacks a mushroom and triggers the alarm. He should have known because he's actually encountered such a creature before. It is a Shrieker. And all the way back in Session 5, it had been Trogdor who triggered a Shrieker before. A human, looking similar to a zombie, suddenly rushes him, and Trogdor slams him with his shield. It's not a zombie, but a human who has had their life drained from them. He explains that they must help the children, and that the witch is nearby. The party ventures into the Shadowfell, where emotions run high and dark magic seeps all around them. And almost immediately they're ambushed by redcaps, and it is very, very apparent that these redcaps are what the others had described as angry, bloodthirsty gnomes. After taking a few hits, Phelan summons up a wind wall and drives them back, where they are scattered back into the dark woods and swamp. The party continues further into the swamp, and they encounter and defeat a Catoblepus, but not before it does quite a bit of damage to them. They arrive at the mouth of a cave and see 10 children hovering, and as the party slowly enters in the cave, they discover, as they move, these floating children, their heads turned, eyes red, follow each and every step that the party takes. Inside, they find a cauldron that Calliope quickly tries to put out, and Ellie tries to cover this unusual shimmering mirror with a bed cover that they found inside the cave. However, an Anus hag suddenly appears and rips at Ellie Jobel. The hag then lunges at Phelan, detecting goodness in her that she is a cleric, and inflicts fatal wounds, downing Phelan. And it's only Calliope's song of Spare the Dying that saves Phelan from death. The hag then casts Blur on herself, forcing the party to try harder to strike her down. All the while, she continues making her way through, attacking party members, wounding many severely as she makes her way through. However, she is finally defeated and the children freed from the curse. The children explain that had they not been saved, they would have been turned into Vargoyles as well. Torpo figures out that the runes on the mirror loosely translate to the word home. The party takes the kids and steps through, and lands not at Redstone, but by a lake. And this is one of the sessions that we left it there with a nice little cliffhanger to be continued.